Hello, everyone. My name is Hector Elizondo, and this is my research project podcast. Now, my research project is over what effects phones have on a teen. Now, you may be wondering, why this topic? Well, I'm a teen who has a phone, and my phone plays a big role in my life. And I know a lot of other people out there, friends and family, etc., have phones that play huge roles in their lives as well. People are being consumed by their phones, and if we're spending so much time on our phones, we have to be affected by them, whether it be negative or positive. And I wanted to find out if it was specifically emotional, mental, or physical, any sort of effect. I wanted to know what it was, especially since it's playing a huge role in my life. I wanted to figure out if there were negative effects that I'd be able to minimize or positive effects that I may want to share to other people. And I just want to be able to minimize these negative effects specifically to my friends and family and people around me, because anything negative to us is just obviously not good, and I wouldn't want that to be being spread out to others, including myself. So what I basically did to start off this project was my own research. I found secondary sources on a database given to us by UTRGV. I found a good amount of articles, some good, some bad, and dwindled it down to 6 different articles. From that, I rummaged through all 6 and brought it back down to 4 articles. And after getting these 4 articles, I found lots of information that answered these questions. I found things on emotional effects, physical effects, and lots of information that I would be able to use for my research project. Now, on one of the articles, I found out that phones can make a person happy or sad depending on how they're using them, specifically through social media. Though social media isn't the phone, it's what most people are using phones for. And I figured out that phone, or social media should I say, could make a person happy or sad. So it goes both ways. But the negative effects of social media on phones is that if you see something sad, or often things sad being spread throughout social media, could affect a person by them seeing it so often that they start becoming more sad. Or things on the internet aside from social media, these things could be saddening and causing more people to be sad, and vice versa with happiness. If you see things that are happy or funny or things of your interest, you're obviously going to be more happier, or while using your phone you would be more happier. Along with emotional state, I found things about physical state like sleep. Radiation given off of phones has been found to cause people to have different sleeping patterns, losing sleep and being sleepier during the day. Along with that, phones are physically just a huge distraction, causing people to stay up later at night when they should just put their phone down and go to sleep. One other effect I did find was people being affected by phones with social anxiety and loneliness, and things like not being able to feel comfortable in social experiences like face-to-face communication. It said that basically using your phone to text or talk over the phone basically causing you to have less and less social interaction with other people, making it worse for you or another person to feel comfortable in these sort of social situations. And one thing that I did notice throughout all 4 of these articles was that they all lacked one thing. And this one thing was the major age group that uses their phones the most, teens. And though they had reasoning behind this, was that all these articles were about 3 to 10 years old. And because of that, there were a different time people wouldn't get phones at such a young age as teenagers. It was mainly adults using these phones. Nonetheless, this is a huge flaw throughout all these articles, because things could be missing now that it's a newer time and phones are being used at an all-time high. So this is where my research, my own physical research, comes into play. I went out and found 3 different teens. My subjects were Michael, Karen, and Andres. And these people are teens that are just like everyone else. They use their phones throughout the day to do things like watch YouTube, be on social media, and communicate with their friends and family. To get some of the most accurate information, I chose to interview these people. I decided to format 12 questions, and these questions were used to get information regarding to the articles I had previously researched, but corresponding with my new 3 test subjects or interviewees. And these questions asked things like how they were emotionally for the most part, how their sleeping patterns were, how they were with social face-to-face communication, and things like that. So after formatting these questions, I went and asked them and interviewed them with these questions. I asked them to go into grave detail, to elaborate on anything, and even say anything that probably they thought wouldn't matter, just anything that I could use to help me with this research topic, so I could formulate my own solution and have my own results, basically. From this, I got a lot of useful information. So basically, I found correlations between the two, being Michael and Andres. They were the two who underused their phones, to say. They used their phones less than the average amount, which was 4 hours a day, while Karen used her phone a bit over the average, about 6 hours, she said. And I found correlations between Michael and Andres. They both used their phones about 3 hours, and they found their phones to be less effective, or not less effective, but have less effect on them than Karen did. They thought it didn't really affect them emotionally. They were both pretty happy. They said that when they saw things on social media, it didn't really change their mood. If anything, it made them happier because most of the things they would see were sad. Weren't sad. Sorry. So they also felt very comfortable with social experiences like face-to-face communication. They weren't really lonely and things like that. They said they felt really comfortable talking to strangers. Not really comfortable, but they were not uncomfortable. They were okay with the situations, as opposed to Karen, who was really uncomfortable with social experiences, face-to-face communication. She felt that she just didn't like them. She would rather be in a comfortable situation where she knew the people around her and stuff like that. So basically, Karen was being largely affected in comparison to Michael and Andres. Along with her social experiences, she said that seeing social media and things like YouTube, I don't know if you would consider that social media, but seeing a lot of things on social media and YouTube, she would be more sad than happy because she ventured deeper into social media and found lots of sad things, lots of realistic things, and basically saw things that were just negative: jealousy, sadness, anger, hatred, things like that, and made her sad to see all these things. I do want to say the one thing that they all did have in correlation was that they all say that after getting phones, they did see a difference in their sleeping patterns. They were more tired throughout the day, like the article said about the adults, and they did lose sleep at night. They were being really distracted by their phones. They weren't able to put them down, and this was causing them to lose sleep at night, causing them to be more tired throughout the day. So from this information that I got from my own research, I came to my own conclusions that phones, like I had thought prior to all of my research, have an effect on a person, and these effects are negative along with some positive effects. So just like I had thought before, there were more negative effects being given off by phones than positive effects. Though there were some positive effects, they were small and things like really not affecting you. The positive effect is that they didn't affect you, and if it did affect you, it was a bit of happiness. Well, that was what I got from my own research on teens. But to focus specifically on these negative effects, they were things like not allowing a person to feel comfortable in a social situation, or making a person less happy while seeing sad things on social media or in the internet, because a lot of the things posted on the internet are sadder than they are happier. And just losing sleep, that's a terrible thing. People need sleep to regain energy and be at their best, and if you're losing sleep because of your phone, this is obviously a big problem. So my answer to all of this is to get off your phones, whether or not they're affecting you negatively or positively, or if you even notice them affecting you. I think anyone and everyone should get off their phones, especially because if being overused or even used in the wrong way, I guess, they could be causing negative effects that just aren't good for your mental and physical health. And if you were to do this, I'm sure there would be greater benefits than there would be if you were to stay on them and try to seek the positive benefits from a cell phone. Yeah, and so that's basically it. Thank you for your time.